We are the Ministry of the Real Truth. And way down under here, just up from Antarctica and across from Australia, it's in its winter stages and it's very, very windy. The wind is howling outside, blowing. It's very noisy, but thank goodness it's not trucks, planes, bikes, cars, etc. That every time we decide to create a video, they run up and down the street. It's a miracle. We are looking at this particular video and this particular man, Victor N. Alexander, who is a native-born Aramaic speaking translator, filmmaker, Mesopotamian history buff from Mesopotamia, Syria. He's translated the original Apostolic Church of the East Old Testament manuscripts, the Ktav Ashurit, and also their Galilean-Aramaic New Testament manuscripts, obviously in the Galilean language that Jesus and his disciples spoke. Somebody wrote down in, and they hid and preserved. They hid them from Emperor Constantine. They were hidden for over 2,000 years, therefore preserved, never messed with or tampered with. Testified by the once head patriarch in 1957, Ma Isai Shimon. So we are looking at our comments way down here somewhere, where we suggested to him, because he said his website was downed for various reasons, something about his son-in-law being Donald Trump or Baron Trump 2, something like that, wanting to take it down, even though they took an oath on his translation, all this sort of stuff. We understand that he's like 79 now. He's not a very well man. Maybe he's on meds, and maybe there's a case of senility coming in there. We don't wish that upon anyone, but here it is here, where he states himself, if this is truly him, his website had been taken down, va.com, which we revived and bring to you via video and so forth. His website, va.com, was taken down by the State Department because the First Lady Melania Trump, isn't she like deceased now? She fell down the stairs or something? Not really sure. Somebody fell down the stairs and died, didn't they? And his son Baron Trump too made Donald Trump take the oath of office on the Church of the East Bible. Now, President Trump is at war with the Southern Baptists because most of them like Victor N. Alexander's Aramaic translation work. He could be wrong, of course, because his son-in-law and he have a private feud over whether Melania is more beautiful than his red-haired Norwegian wife, Liv Alexander. And that's coming directly from, supposedly from Victor N. Alexander. His wife, Liv Alexander, was an actress for a while there. We don't know if she still is, but she was in TV series like Star Quest with the famed Burt Ward, i.e. Boy Wonder, Robin, from the 1960s TV series Batman, starring Adam West. So 3 years ago we welcomed him back. It was nice to see him, and we tell him about a Bennett guy on his blog, this particular blog, was saying that Victor's middle name was Isaac, when we know for a fact on the cover of his Aramaic New Testament, Disciples New Testament, etc., his middle name is Nimrud, because he's supposedly a descendant of the biblical Nimrud and the Jews that came out of Egypt, liberated from bondage. Okay, so here we put, okay, it's nice to see you back, sir. A Bennett guy in his blog was saying your middle name began with anything but N, and you were asking for $100 to get your site up again. Further down, he's actually asking for a laptop, etc., and he's saying that it's $300 a month with wwp.com or something like that, and that he was sick in some US hospital, etc. Can I, by means I know of, make a copy of it so I can put it up somewhere totally free, and then They can't do that again, as I've been recording your theory of the Aborigine etc. for a while now, and your site info in general, and getting cracked by Christians and atheists alike. I like to back up what I add on YouTube so they can't say I'm lying or talking crap anymore. Cheers, your number one fan. Damn, I forgot what your middle name starting with N is. Who it came from. Oh yeah, it's Nigel, Neil, Nectus. Damn, I forget, it was just a little joke. You ever tried Weebly? Because you can put it up there for free, right? Your website. But it's probably got so much content that there's a limit. We suggested this as your contemporary Angel Gabriel Roth has put up the ancient Syriac from English from the very same original church of the East, the Eastern Syriac Breetah. She's translated into English, and there's the link there. On Bennett's website or another guy's YouTube video, he stated that you said you bought a copy of the original Assyrian, Aramaic or Ashurit text from a priest of the original church, and he told you the Syriac is wrong. Or that particular one, probably the Urhai Western Breetah or something. If a true statement, you can look at the AramaicScripts.com, etc., and give us all your critique comments on whether it is wrong. His is wrong, Andrew Gabriel Ross, being from the original Syriac Breetah. Wait a doggone minute, I'm smelling a rat here. I could be wrong, of course, because my son-in-law and I have a private feud over where the Melania is a more beautiful red-haired Norwegian wife, Liv Alexander, his wife. Victor and Alexander, I'd like to prove that this is indeed you, Mr. Victor, so I wonder what you said about me via through your email in regards about many a thing I asked you questions about, and all this other information here. Yeah. And basically we put, because he said here, his website was taken down by the State Department because First Lady Melania Trump and his son Barron Trump made Donald Trump take the oath of office on the Church of the East Bible, etc., etc. And he makes further comments down here that it's $300 a month, which you can't afford. Oh, was it $300 or more a month to put this website up, all this information back up? And being 79 and sick, he can't afford that because he's on Social Security. He lost a lot of money when these people took his website down. So we thought, okay, we really like this man. He's really honest, and he has a chuckle with us now and again through the emails, etc. Right? So we have high regard, high respect for this particular man. We consider him our mentor because he's really helped us to wake up and realize and no longer be confused by what the scriptures actually say. There's some comments here. The Church of the East didn't use the ancient Aramaic, it used Syriac. Ancient Aramaic already died out before the time of the first church. Okay, so if Thomas, Peter, Bartholomew, etc. founded that church and they spoke Galilean-Aramaic, or they were Galileans, they spoke Galilean, there's no way that it died out. So the ancient church used Syriac. They may have used both. Okay. It might have died out after, in the 13th century or something like that, when it was destroyed. Okay. And we've talked to other people, like Dr. James, or Professor James De Francisco, who says he's met and sat with Victor and Alexander and talked with him exclusively on the scriptures, the Aramaic scriptures, but he says he's going a bit too deep into it in the Breetah or Genesis, where he goes into the pre-Adamic Neanderthal man being created before the spiritual Adam, as he mentions in this particular video. And there's someone here saying he's forcibly imposing the father-son theory in a translation which is clearly visible. Bari is one name of God which denotes his virtue of majestic creator, the maker. Ta'ala means the honourable, glorious, not the son of God. theory is just in your mind, and somehow or else you look for holes to put that in. Yeshua or Isa is the right pronunciation, as you rightly said. Allah or Allah is the name of that glorious creator. As it is mentioned in the book of Genesis, I ask you a simple question, if you are so honest in your thinking: did Allah have any wife before he started the task of creation, so that he could admit any all this sort of stuff? Yeah, this is probably a Muslim, and he's trying to incorporate Allah as the same or that one God. I'm not really sure. That he's trying to say that Victor and Alexander was forcibly imposing the father-son theory in the translation. If you've ever read it, you'll find that in the Breetah, or the original Genesis translated into English from the Ktav Ashurit of the Lishana Artika Cypriot, sacred scribal language, that God spoke to Adam and Eve in the garden, that it mentions the very first verses in the beginning, referring to the Christ or the Messiah or the Son of God as that beginning. He created everything. He's the uncreated creator. And that's what it says in Exodus 3:6. And it goes on about him. He who is coming and is coming, he who comes, etc. That spark, that light, and it's talking about the Christ. And then throughout the Aramaic scriptures, it actually says, Allah, even your Allah, says your kingdom will last forever, etc., etc. So we used to argue with him because he thought, how can Christ be God if he's on the earth, praying in the garden at Gethsemane to his Father who's up in heaven, sitting on the throne, right? Or he's being crucified, he's up on the cross and he cries out, my God, or you. How can he be God? Is he talking to himself? But he verified for us that we had a strange way of looking at Jesus, because he is God. And then we went through his translations again, and we found different passages that clearly stated he is God. Did Thomas not say to him when he walked through the door and he doubted him that he was who he said he was? When he showed him the holes in his hands or his wrists and his feet and the scar on the side where he got jabbed with the spear, didn't Thomas say, my God, or my Allah and my Lord? Why would he say that if he wasn't God? They knew he was God, but he's like the manifestation of God. It's right throughout those particular Galilean-Aramaic scriptures translated into the nearest English equivalent by this man, Alexander. Okay, so what we're going to do for this older man as an appreciation is we're going to go right through his translation project, which we revived and we bring to all via our video, via our videos, via our YouTube channel, the Ministry of the Raw Truth. So let's begin there. This is when he first posted it up, from about 1997-98, and it was taken down about 2015-2016 or shortly thereafter. So we've revived it and we bring it to all via video, because we have had a lot of challenges, etc. People have asked us as well, where is it? We can't give you the link, etc., possibly because the copyright is owned by him, but he's okay with us, the Ministry of the Real Truth, doing it so far. He's told us many times he appreciates our work. So we hope that we exclusively have the copyright from him. We're allowed to use it, right? He seems okay with it so far. So we're basically protecting it, honouring his copyright, etc. So we are at the first page that we came across from his 1997 to 1998 postings, and it's titled Civilization versus Freedom. And he talks about America's moral vacuum is not of Obama's making. We know Obama was in. The American people end up choosing a president who reflects their fears. Obama saw the moral vacuum in American society and went for an end run that got him into the White House. It was no small matter, this intuition, and it's no doubt that he saw for the first time in America's history that the American people had stopped believing in religion. The candidates didn't even bother stating their particular faith. Almost nobody cared whether they were Mormon, Roman Catholic or Protestant. Obama saw it and he understood that Christianity had lost its appeal as a religion. He declared himself a Christian just to be safe, or perhaps to avoid controversy. However, what he did not anticipate was that his being raised a Muslim rang a chord with millions of disgruntled Americans and others who had been given a raw deal, such as the Mexican Americans. It was such a chord, too, that it defeated the electorate. The marginally Christian voters were completely oblivious to what Obama had uncovered. Some even voted for him because he said that he was a Christian. What was amazing is that John McCain was your average Christian also. But all those millions of people who voted for him were not voting for him because he was a Christian. They voted for him because he was a war hero and a loyal American. If McCain had run as an evangelical Christian, he would have stood a much better chance of defeating Obama. But those many more millions who voted for Obama were voting for something totally different. They voted for Obama because Obama represented them. What nobody seemed to understand is that regardless of how Obama performed at the time, he was still the man who represents the majority of Americans. He represented them as a lion is king of the jungle. He comes from them and is of the same mindset, whether they think so or not. To talk with this John McCain, apparently, the behind-the-scenes information that he was possibly a helicopter pilot, got shot down, was taken prisoner by Viet Cong, tortured, etc. Something like that. He was in the armed forces, and then he totally turncoated them. He told them their flight paths, etc., etc. So when these Americans flew over these camps, etc., they shot them down because he revealed all of it to them. So he was not regarded as a war hero by many. They said that he was a turncoat for the Viet Cong, or the Vietnamese army. It's just what we found through research. Today, the primaries haven't even started, and already the media are picking who are the front runners in the Republican bloc, who has a chance, or who had a chance at that time, and who didn't have a snowflake's chance in hell. The modern media knew such things, but what they didn't know is how this election was going to turn out, because they didn't know that America's secularism is steeped in the moral vacuum of a society that no longer believes in the Creator. Americans predominantly believe in evolution and science. Evolution means that they don't believe in the Creator described in the Bible, and science means that they don't believe in Jesus. Because according to Darwin, the human species evolved from single-celled organisms without an omniscient Creator, and according to American universities, man became a phenomenal success because of his opposable thumbs. Man could touch his thumb to his small finger and therefore exercise such delicate touch that he could invent anything, and thus became so prolific as to cure diseases and fly in the air on wings of steel, etc. The hapless Republican candidates had been browbeaten. They didn't dare to breathe a word about being Christian, and what brand of Christianity were they? Nobody cared, is why talk about it. Moreover, the majority of Americans hated Christianity. They saw Christianity as the source of all their pain. Such are the economic hardships that all face today, or faced at that particular time, that they didn't want to talk about Jesus feeding the 5,000 with 3 pieces of bread or more and 2 fish. Americans don't want to hear any more fish stories. This dislike or hatred for Jesus was something that he foresaw. Obama, right? In Matthew 10:22, Jesus said, "And you will be hated by every human being because of my name." But he added, "Those who believe until the end shall live the eternal life." So people don't like Jesus for that. In Mark 13:13, Jesus said, "And you will be hated by all kinds of people because of my name. Whoever remains faithful until the end, however, shall live forever, or for all eternity." In Luke 21:17-19, Jesus said, "And you will be hated by every person because of my name. However, grace shall never desert you by the hope that you proffer, then you shall earn your salvation." In John 15:18-19, Jesus said, "And if the world hates you, remember that they hated me first." They hated Jesus first. And if you were of the world, then the world would have been kind to me, as you are. Except you are not of this world, but because I chose you out from this world, the world hates you. So you are a citizen of the kingdom of God. Okay, you're just here for a short period, right? You've got to think like that. In Acts 5:41-42, it says, when the disciples were thrown out of the temple in Jerusalem for preaching about Jesus after he was resurrected, and they went out from there, delighted that they were worthy to be chastised for the sake of his name. So these jailers, or these Jews, or whoever, these Pharisees, said, yeah, you're free to go, but don't preach to the people about Jesus, because they knew that what he did happened, right? That it was all real. Okay? They realised this. Yeah, okay, we witnessed it, we saw what he did, and what he did, wow, amazingly, the miracles, etc. No one's ever done them before, and they worked. We saw it with our own eyes. So, but yeah, don't go preaching that. Okay, don't tell the people that. Okay, or else you're in trouble. So they went off and did it anyway. They went out from there, delighted they were worthy to be chastised for the sake of his name, and they did not rest from teaching every day at the temple and at home, and to preach the faith of the Lord Yeshua, or Jesus the Messiah. So it is well established in the four Gospels and the book of Acts that not only Jesus was hated by the majority of the people, but that his followers would be hated as well, and that by their persistence they would be justified. In the coming election at this particular time, the presidential election of 2012, the Republican Party, he's saying, had better get their act together. There was no point in winning the presidency if they were going to be another secular party. They already have a secular party. It's called the Democrats. They cater to everyone, regardless of what religion they believe or what ideology they espouse, or sexual preference, etc., etc. They are the eternal liberals, dedicated to winning the seat of power in the greatest empire that the world has known. They think that they understand this world, where it came from and where it's going, because they vote for everything. So it's fair. In fairness they excel, so much so that they want to make everything fair for everybody, as long as they vote Democratic. If you're a Republican candidate, you have one option: represent the American Christians. Okay, so he must be Republican oriented. That's Victor Alexander. And in doing so, you will be representing America's best hope of returning to grace. If you're worried that you might not win, don't run at all. You have already been defeated by those people who hate Jesus. You see, the people who don't believe in Jesus are not concerned with American grace. They are going to vote for Obama, or they voted for Obama because Obama spoke their lingo. When he spoke, they heard him. When he promised them something is what they wanted. When he urged them to go out there and make a difference, they became the difference. Those people who vote for Obama didn't believe that there was a moral vacuum. They believed that morality stemmed from their hopes and dreams. They thought that morality changes with the times and with who's doing what. They didn't understand that morality comes from the doctrines recorded in the scriptures. The Republicans were holding debates and would soon compete in the primaries. With this process, they tried to reveal their policies and how they would represent the people. The Republican candidates should have considered declaring their faith in Jesus, because then everybody would know that they are not going to go out of a moral vacuum. He goes on more about Obama, etc. And then he states, let it be clear then, debating the issue is fine, but don't let the media line you up like ducks in a shooting gallery. And for heaven's sake, stop attacking each other. Obama at the time could be defeated, but choose someone, suggesting you should choose someone who knows what to do as president, and someone who isn't afraid of saying Merry Christmas. Because if someone is afraid of saying Merry Christmas, they will be afraid of saying Happy Hanukkah also.